Okay, so we're going to talk about the newest version of Prezi. The idea is we're using this in the classroom as presentation software to mix it up a little bit from just the standard one, which is, obviously PowerPoint, which works very linear. It's very straightforward, one slide to the next. This allows us to jump over and back and forth through slides. So what you're going to do is you're going to hit sign up. Don't jump right there. Go down to students and teachers, click on that, and then we'll hit start now. You put in your Ashland email. It needs to be your Ashland email because it needs the edu at the end. So put your Ashland email in there, hit continue. It'll send you out an email of which you do the verification process, create a username and password. Then it'll take you to the login screen, which I'm going to go back to right now and just log in. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to hit new Prezi here. I'm going to type in just straightforward name. And this is a test Prezi. Hit new Prezi at that point, and then we begin. I'm just going to work from a blank, so I'm going to double click on that. That allows me to teach all the structure that's involved, all the background stuff, so you don't have to work strictly from a template. So if I hit click to add text, you'll see a text box appears. So anywhere that I click in, I can create a little text box. Giant grid, right? We're using this huge grid workspace, sandbox, if you will, to work from, so it gives us a lot of room to play with. So I'm going to type in here, start with an idea. Okay, so if we do that and I zoom in until everything becomes a little hazy, zoom in right on that H in width. Okay, going a little further. And let me drag myself out here. So I got that huge H there, and I click over here. I create a little tiny piece of text. So if I type in the words big idea there, and I have a set of controls here that pop up, right? So I can grow or shrink the text that way. I can change the color on it, and I can also change alignment if I'm using bullets and indentation, etc. as well. If I click off and then I click back on, it gives us a different control. So if I click on that blue area, I can grow or shrink the text. If I click on the outer ring, I can rotate it. So I'm going to rotate it halfway, click on the hand, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to drag it into the space on the H. I'm going to zoom out. And I'm just going to drag this sideways a little bit so I have more space to work from. I can insert things like shapes, so if I wanted to drag in, say, a rectangle, etc., have it filled, and obviously put white text on top of it, something like that that's readable still. I can use this tool here. I can also use a pencil tool to draw freehand shapes, and I can highlight colors over top of things as well. Okay, if I click on that, I can delete any of those structures out too. So click on, say, the lines there. I can hit the garbage can and make them all disappear. I can also change the, go back and have the same interface that I had before. Click on it again, into the garbage can it goes. Okay, so that was under insert, that was shapes. I can also add images. I can import a PowerPoint, add a YouTube video, add different files, so other files like Word documents, etc. Shockwave Flash. I can also insert drawings that are prepackaged. So I'm going to just insert the pyramid to show you guys how frames work. Drag that one up, you'll see that there's a plus or minus, or plus or X, check mark or X. If I zoom in there, you'll see little pieces of structure that perhaps I don't need to have. Like, I don't really want the pictures in there because they have nothing to do with what I'm doing. So I can get rid of those structurally out of the document. Okay, and just be left with the actual drawing here. I can click in here and I can change the, double click in. I can change these, so if I put in 2 cool for school, okay, that gives us individual components, because you see these are separate text boxes, right, that are overlapped. But this frame allows us to link so you see the entire object. You'll see what I mean when we get over to the paths area. But just to drill that in a little bit further, if I create 3 different text boxes over here, so you guys can see that, create, and then click off, create another one, a frame, and then I'm just going to click and align these things up. I wanted 3 separate items though. I don't want to just click into one text box and write in and create a frame and then that's it. And then I go to frame. This allows me to create a frame, this bracket here. So if I draw a frame around it, it should allow me to create a frame as an entire item to see that as a whole screen view by itself. Okay, if I want to take that in a little further, the idea of frames, go to Insert, and then I'm going to go to Image, and I'm just going to type in there, try that again, college group, hit search, and then it gives me a bunch of items that I can work with, a bunch of pictures from Google directly. So if I want to take this one and use it, I just hit OK. You see it says it's updating, the processing the media, and there it is. If I hit frame now at this point and draw a hidden frame, I'm just going to draw it here for a second. This will allow me to focus in just on his face later on. Okay, let's go with another item now. If I want to insert a YouTube video, I have to go to YouTube, so go over to YouTube. Go to Ashland University. And I'm just going to pick that college tour there.
Welcome back to College Tour. As we
and I don't need to hear her. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy that link up top with a Control C, or in Mac Command C. I'm going to go back to my Prezi, paste that in there, hit Insert. You'll see the video migrates right away. I can grow that out if I want it to be larger. Doesn't really matter because it's going to full screen when we zoom into it anyway. The next thing we need to do is go to the paths. Paths create the links between the items that you want as you want them to appear. So if I hit path here, and you'll see a little preview over on this side. So this is really, the slide sorter like you'd have in PowerPoint. So our first one is this one big idea, the big circle. If I want to go in and zoom in on the text, I hover over there, click on that. Now remember, I've got that little inside the H. This is where things become cool because you can add hidden objects and rotation. I can click into the big idea and that'll rotate it in to that position and appear on the big screen. Now if I go back over to our drawing here, right, if I want to see the entire pyramid, I click on the frame around it. Again, you see a preview, it previews the whole frame, so it's what's in the brackets. If I want to go to the individual items at that point, I can go and zoom in on each to create emphasis. If I'm going to talk about each of those points. When I zoom back out to the main frame again, I can click back on the frame and it'll go big picture again for me. We'll go over to our other frame here again, click on the frame if I want to see the whole thing. If I want individual items to appear, you see a little star that appears beside the item. That allows us to animate the frame content. So if I click in there, right, and click over top of each of these, a fade in effect is gonna happen to those as we load this particular slide. Hit done for this particular element. If I want to then appear and go into each of those and talk about them again, I click on each item. Click back, see the whole frame again. Want to see the entire picture? I obviously just click on the picture. If it doesn't click right away, or it seems to be hazed out a little bit, just zoom out a little bit, and that'll allow you to get on the entire item. If you happen to misplace an item, so it links to something incorrectly, you can always drag over on top of it. A little further here. Okay, so that'll take us to the whole picture if I click on the picture. If I hover over the frame that we've created over his face, that gives us that. If it's not appearing, you can always right-click on that frame. Now let's drag up a little bit first. Let me take the path off for a second. Okay, I'm going to wait till the little haze appears. If I right-click on the frame there, I should be able to bring it to the front, so that'll create a layer that's on the front at that point. So we know that that's the item that's actively in the front. So if it happens to disappear, it's probably dropped behind the picture, and you need to bring it forward. Once we've got that, we can link over to our YouTube video. And finally, I'll zoom back out, and I'll go back to the origin point. If, of course, any of these get out of order, you can always drag them into order. So if I want his face to appear first, and then go big picture, I can. If I want to execute this to make sure it's functioning, if I hit show at that point, it should start there. See what I mean about zooming and rotating. Go to individual elements at that point, and then back on the frame takes us to the big picture. Again, clicking on the frame, big picture. We animated this so they appear one by one on a click, and then we can go into each item. And then back on the frame for big picture. Zoom in on dude's face, zoom out to the whole picture.
Welcome back
Video
to College
automatically
Tour,
loads
as we highlight
from
Ashland
YouTube.
University.
Much more convenient than
Founded in
PowerPoint, in which you'd
1878,
actually have to
it's a
save the video in the same directory. And we can always go
mid-sized
back and
four-year
forth. It saves the position.
private institute.
Hit escape, and then I'm done there. So this obviously is where the saving icon goes. So I mean, if you want to save it, you can hit that at any time. It saves automatically every few seconds. At that point, if you want to end your Prezi, what you do is you hit exit. After exiting, you've got this initial screen, so you can always go back and edit it there by hitting Edit Prezi. If you want to edit with other people, so if you want to work on it collaboratively, you can hit Edit Together and allow you to pop in, well, you give them the link so they can work on it themselves, independent of you. The other thing is this, you won't change your privacy settings to be public so others can actually see it. Or in this case, so your professor can actually grade it. After that, I mean, you want to hit share, and you can actually go to the share link, and that would be the link that you go, and if you're going to drop this into the Dropbox, you drop it into the Dropbox using that link. Or if you wanted to share with other people, you could send that link out.